Hello friends, how are you? I hope you all are doing superbly great. So let's continue with our discussion on contract costing, which we started in the last lecture, right? And we have lots and lots of concepts to discuss before we move on to the practical part. One thing I don't know why some people are creating such misconceptions that we are not doing the practical part on the YouTube. I don't understand that from where does this come, right? That clearly shows that those people are absolutely paid agents and they haven't gone through the lectures even at least once, right? They say they don't cover the practical part. Sir, we have covered, if we include RTP MTPs, over 200 questions on YouTube, only on YouTube, sir, right? 200 question in our ICISM series. Sir, some part also you have to practice, na? You are in the professional examinations. You don't need the spoon feeding, isn't it? Some investment you will have to make if you want to do extra in free lectures, YouTube lectures. You are getting over 200 things, 200 questions, along with the concept clarity. That is the utmost important thing, right? What else do you require? I mean, I don't understand, right? So I would like to say to all those people, kindly watch the videos, right? Next time you message, you comment such things, right? Don't clearly show us that you are the paid agents, right? Who are working only with the motive of, maligning the name of KSJ teaching, because it's not going down well with you that we are providing quality videos free of cost. And all those who like it, guys, do share with maximum people, subscribe to the channel, like the videos, right? That's what we expect from you. And obviously the handbooks for your benefits are always there, a small investment, right? But today, if you will invest 1500 to 2000 rupees, I'm not asking for huge investment, right? 1500, 2000 rupees, if you are going to invest today, that is going to save you 6 months. And in those 6 months, being a chartered accountant, you can earn lakhs. Right? Mind you, you can earn lakhs by spending just a few bucks. Rest is individual choice, sir. That's totally your option, whether you want to take benefit or not. Totally your choice, totally your call. Okay, coming back to contract costing now. In the contract costing, we have already understood all the basics, right? And what we understood was that there are two parties to the contract. One is called the contractor, right? One is called the contractor and the other one is called the contractee. So who is the contractor? Sir, contractor is the one who is going to make the house on behalf of contractee. The amount will be paid by the contractee. Contract price will be paid by the contractee to contractor. And whenever we talk about the cost accounting, it is done from the viewpoint of contractor always. Costing to be done from the viewpoint of contractor, because the contractor is interested in identifying that whether, if I take up a particular contract, whether I will be earning the profit out of that or not. Clear? Now, in the last lecture, we have already studied about the fixation of contract price also. Fixation of contract price. Right? Fixation of contract price. That the contractor is asking the contractor, sir, how much you will charge for constructing the house? Contractor says, sir, I will calculate and tell you, right? That calculation is fixation of contract price. For that, what we do? We prepare a cost sheet. Now, say the agreement was done, the contract was signed between the contractor and the contractee. Now the work has started. The contractor has started the work, and at the end of the financial year, obviously the contractor will also close his books, right? At the end of the financial year, the contractor will like to close his books, right? For that, when he is closing his books, he is interested in identifying at the financial year, see, this contract is going to be for 2-3 years. Right? It is not going to end in 1 year. So we cannot, at the end of the first year, we cannot identify that whether we will definitely earn profits or not. But he is interested in knowing what is my cost till that date, right? And what is my income till that particular date. For example, say, try to understand it now. Say I started a contract on 1/4/2021, right? This is the first financial year, 31/3/22, and the contract will end on, say, 31st of March 23. This is where the contract will end. This is where the contract started. Now we are standing on this date, on 31st of March 22. Now at this point we are not certain about the profitability, right? We are not certain about the profitability, but we would like to identify that starting from this date till this date, how much of the expenditure we have incurred, how much is the income that we are expecting to earn, right? And whether we will be able to earn the profit in this project or not. Clear? Now if you want to write down all the expenditure and income and to know whether there will be a profit or not, here whatever is the profit, say you have income of 100 rupees, you have expenditure of 50 rupees, right? You will say, sir, I am earning a profit of this 50 rupees, right? But this is not a final profit because there is still 1 year more to the contract. This is not your final profit, right? This profit, this 50 rupees is called as notional profit. This is known as notional profit, right? Sir, what is a notional profit? Notional profit is that profit which is not finalized, right? Which is expected to be earned. Clear? This 50 rupees is not my final profit because this period is still pending. I don't know what will be the expenditure. I don't know what will be the income, right? So I cannot book it as my final profit. This is my notional profit. Now, if you want to write down this expenditure, income, and to find out what will be my notional profit, see, for identifying the profit, what do you do? Say you are at the year end, you are closing your books. What will you do to identify the profit? Sir, very simply, you will prepare profit and loss account, isn't it? How you identify your profit? If you want to identify your profits, what you will do? Sir, you will simply prepare profit and loss account, isn't it? Now the same is the situation with this contractor. The contractor wants to know whether I will be earning the profit or not. That means he wants to know his notional profit, right? For this notional profit only, for this notional profit also, he will prepare a profit and loss account, right? But when we are talking about contract costing, we do not call it a profit and loss account. Instead of profit and loss account, we call it as contract account, right? So that means at the end of the year, he will prepare one account which is known as contract account. What is a contract account? It is nothing but a mini profit and loss account, a mini profit and loss account. Nothing much, in which we are going to record all our expenditures, in which we are going to record all our incomes, and we will try to identify our notional profit, that is the expected profit. Clear? To that particular date, what is my expectation that whether I will be earning the profit or not? So for that, I will prepare a profit and loss account which is called as a contract account here. Clear, sir? Now, when we talk about this contract account, now, we'll prepare it in the T form. I'll show you the contract account. Don't worry about it, right? We are going to study this contract account in 4 different parts. In 4 different parts, we are going to study it. If you are a CA intermediate new course student, you will study it in 3 parts. Rest of the students, whether those are the CMA students, whether the UPSC students, BCom students, or any other students, whosoever are watching these videos, guys, for those people, this contract account will be studied in 4 parts, right, sir? What is the difference? The first part is material, labor, and overheads. The second part is plant and machinery. machinery. Third part is work in progress. And the fourth part is notional profit. Right? So listen to it very carefully. If you are a CA Inter student, new course student, right, then you have to study only the first three parts. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is the fourth part. If you are a CA Inter new course student, you have to study only 3 parts. For rest of the students, you have to study 4 parts. I'll tell you in brief about the fourth part also, notional profit transfer to WIP reserve, right? Nothing to worry about it. So I'll discuss all the parts, don't worry. Clear? So contract account is to be studied in all these parts, right? How we prepare this contract accounts are simple in the T format as we prepare profit and loss account. So contract account is prepared in the T format. Here we will write about materials, here we'll talk about labor, here we'll talk about overheads, here we'll talk about WIP, plant and machinery, depreciation, and all those things, and we'll calculate the notional. We'll calculate notional profit, or we can call it as notional loss also. If there is a loss, notional loss. This is the simple contract account. In this way, in the T format, we'll be preparing. So you can check out your handbooks. I have given everything, right? On page 11.2, you can see I have given one figure where I have prepared the contract account and I have shown the 4 directions, right? One is material, labor, overhead. Second is plant and machinery. Third is WIP, and fourth one is the notional profit. In my handbooks, right? In KSJ handbooks, open page 11.2. There I have given, along with the journal entries, there you can see the 4 directions, right? So these are the 4 parts in which we are going to study the contract account, right? And if you want to see the contract account, sir, you can go to page 11.6. There I have given the contract account also, that how it is to be prepared. If you want to see the specimen, go to page 11.6 of the handbooks, right? So I assume that all of you must have seen that. Now let's start with the first part. Let's start with the first part, that is material, labor, and overheads. Material, labor, and overheads. Right, so this is the first part. All those who are having the handbooks, no need to write anything. I'm just going to discuss all the journal entries that I have already given in the handbooks, right? Just focus on listening to each and everything, right? Instead of writing, just focus on what I am telling you, what I am explaining you. Focus on that instead of focusing on writing. That is the benefit of handbooks, sir. You can focus on what I am teaching you. You can focus on understanding the concept. Otherwise, what you will do? You will focus more on writing. And at the end, what you will do is you will forget about the concepts, right? And you will have to invest the double time then. Instead of practicing, you will invest the time in understanding the concept then. Okay, regarding the material, we will be discussing the few journal entries now. My first journal entry will be material purchased for a contract. Material purchased for a contract. Material purchased for a contract. Now, how you are going to record this? First tell me, whenever you are going to purchase the raw material, here material means the raw material, right? Whenever you are going to purchase the raw material, whether it is an expenditure or an income, sir, if we are going to purchase something, obviously the money will flow out of our pocket. It will be an expenditure, right? So this purchase of material is an expenditure for me. Sir, whenever you are preparing the profit and loss account, say you are preparing the profit and loss account, where do you record all the expenditure? You will write to material, isn't it? You will write like this. You record all this on the debit side. What will be the journal entry? P&L to material. In this case, sir, in contract costing, I am saying that we, instead of P&L account, we use the name contract account. So the entry will be, my entry will be contract account debit to cost of material purchased, to cost of material purchased account. right? So this is your first journal entry, that you are purchasing the raw material for that particular contract. Now here, whenever we are talking, we always say for a contract, that means we are doing the accounting for a particular contract. Say I am a contract, I must be constructing 3 houses at the same time, right? What I want to identify is the profit from each individual construction. From each individual contract, I want to know the my profit, my expenditure. That means whenever we are talking about the contract account, we prepare the contract account for each individual contract, right? It is not for all the contracts. It is, we are talking about one contract at a time. Clear? Next, second entry, sir. Quickly, second entry is, this is the material purchased from the supplier. Now some of the material was not up to the mark, so we returned it. So I'll put the entry material returned to supplier. Material returned to supplier. What will be my journal entry for this material returned to supplier, sir? Very simple. This journal entry will be reversed. Reverse of purchase, obviously returns you take it on this side. Purchase returns you always take it on this side, sir, or you subtract it from here. This is how you show it, right? So here I will say the cost of material returned, cost of material returned account debit, returned account debit to contract account. Right, sir? Any doubt about this? So the first two entries are cleared: material purchased for a contract and material returned to supplier. Now let's come to the third entry. Third entry is material issued from store to site. Sir, what is the meaning of this? Try to understand it. Sir, I have a common store. This is my godown. This is my godown where I have some surplus material, where I always keep some material for emergencies, right? This is my own personal godown, right? Where I am keeping some surplus material, and this material I can use for any of the contracts. Now say one of my projects is going on in this area, right? This is my project 1. This is P1. Now here one of the materials is short. It is 9 o'clock at night and some of the material is short here. Now what I will do, I will quickly send one of the laborer and say, pick the material from here and bring it to this project. Right? So whatever is the cost of the material that is being transferred from, this is my store and this is my site. Now if I am transferring the material from store to site, the cost of that material will be added in the cost of this particular contract. Obviously, sir. Right? Whatever the material I will issue from store, I have bought the material from my pocket and kept it in my store for emergency. Now, whenever I am going to transfer the material from store to site, obviously the cost of that material will be included in that particular project where that material has been used. Right? Clear? Now, if it is an expenditure, what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be contract account debit. Contract account debit to cost of material issued, to cost of material issued. Any doubts? Now if the material is returned from site to store, right? This material was excess here, so I picked up the material and kept it in my godown. So if this is returned from site to store, this entry will be reversed, right? You can check in the handbooks, journal entry number 4, material returned from site to store. Now this is the reverse section, from site to store, cost of material returned to contract account. The entry will be reversed, right? In the handbooks I have given entry number 4, right? Journal entry number 4, you can check. Now the next entry, Next entry is materials transfer from other contract. Material transferred from other contract. Now, if there is a material transferred from other contract, what will be the journal entry for this? Say, I just told you that it is not possible that I will be working on just one project. Say, I am working on two projects. This is my project 1 P1, right? This is my project 2 P2. Now, I have this material 1 M1 lying in this project 1, which is surplus here. I have extra material lying in the project 1. Now this M1 is required in the project 2. What I do is, instead of buying from the market, I transfer this surplus material from my project 1 to project 2. It is surplus here, sir. Material 1 is lying surplus, lying idle. That is also my cost, right? So why I should go and buy from the market? What I will do is, I will take from the project 1 and take it to the project 2. Getting my point? Now, if I am transferring the material, the cost of this material that I am transferring from here to here, this cost will be added in the cost of project P2 and it will be subtracted from the cost of the project P1. See the double effect. Sir, it will be added to the cost of project P2 where this material is to be consumed, right? And it will be subtracted from the cost of the project from where it has been transferred. From P1 it will be subtracted, from P2 it will be added. It's a simple rule. Debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Simple, right? Got it? So what will be the journal entry for transfer? Here, from the angle of P2, what will be the journal entry, sir? It will be an expenditure, right? So I will write contract account debit to cost of material transferred, to cost of material transferred. Clear? And from the angle of P1 who has transferred it, what will be the journal entry? The journal entry will be cost of material transferred. It will be the reverse journal entry. Account debit to contract account. Its expenditure will decrease. So contract account will be credited. Clear, sir? Check out the journal entry number 5 and 6 in the handbook. The journal entry number 5 says material transferred from other contract, right? That is, we are talking about the P2 part here. From other contract, right? The entry is contract to cost of material transferred. And if it is cost of material if it is material transferred to other contract, whenever it is to, we are talking from the point of P1, the entry will be cost of material transferred to contract account, right? Check out entry number 5 and 6 in the handbooks. Any doubts? Any doubts, sir? Okay, moving on to the next part. Next is sale of material. Sale of material. Now what happened? Listen to it very carefully. I am working on this particular project P1. I have material M1 lying with me, right? Now what happened? One day one of my friend comes. He is also a contractor. He comes to the site and he says that, my dear friend, you have M1 at this site. I'm not getting this material 1 in the market, right? So because of the shortage of this material 1, can you sell me some of this material so I can continue with my project? What I'm saying, listen to it very carefully. I am working on this I am a contractor. I am working on this project P1. I have a particular material M1, which is a special material, right? One of my friend visited this site. He is also a contractor. He is also constructing a house. Now he says that, my dear friend, I'm not getting this material M1 in the market, right? It is in shortage. In the market, there is a shortage of M1. If you have some surplus of M1. Can you please sell me this M1? Right? Can you please sell me this M1? Some quantity you keep it, some quantity sell it to me so that I can continue with my project, right? He is my friend, so I had a surplus of M1, right? This M1 I had bought it for, this is my buying price, buying value. Buying value is I bought it for rupees 100. Now I'm selling it for, now see, you are a smart constructor. What you will do? You will say, okay, take some, no issues. He will say, what is the price? You will say, see, in the market I got it for 120 rupees. I'm not going to charge extra from you, so pay me 120 rupees. Now your friend doesn't know that you are already charging the profit from him. You bought that product for 100 rupees, but you are a smart contractor. You will sell that product because you know that it is in the shortage in the market, and your friend is not going to get it soon. Your friend is in need of it and you are taking the benefit of it. You will say, see friend, I got it for 120 rupees, so I'll sell it to cost to cost. I'm not keeping any profit. You are my best friend, you are my dear friend, right? And the friend doesn't know that his best friend is looting him, right? 120 rupees, he's already adding 20 rupees as the profit, sir. So he doesn't know that, isn't it? See, sir, this is the reality of life. I tell you, this is the reality of life. Friends will loot you. No doubt about it. Right? Friends will always loot you. Beware of your friends and relatives. Okay, now, this is here, 20 rupees is my profit on this sale. Clear? Now let's come to the journal entry. So just tell me one thing. Whenever you are buying this material, what is the journal entry when you have bought this material? This is your expenditure. Your journal entry is contract account debit. Contract account debit to cost of material. To cost of material account. That is 100 rupees and 100 rupees. Now, when you sold this material, what is the journal entry that you are going to pass? When you're going to sell this material, what is the journal entry? Now, this is your income. Contract account will be credited, right? See, sir, profit and loss account, where you record the sales. You will say sales here, sales to contract, right? 120. So you will write sale proceeds account debit. Sale proceeds account debit 120 to contract account. To contract account 120. Any doubt? Right? Sir, we have debited the contract account with 100. We have credited the contract account with 120. What will be the treatment of this 20 rupees? What will be the treatment of this 20 rupees, sir? Sir, the treatment of the profit will be, sir, if you are earning the profit, say here your cost is 100 rupees, you sold it for 120, you will say profit here, how much? 20. So this is my contract account. What will be the entry? Contract account debit to profit account. Sir, this is my entry. If you want to book the profit, the entry will be contract account debit, contract account debit to profit and loss account, to profit and loss account, right? 20 and 20. This is my profit. Now, sir, the next question is, if in case there is a loss instead of profit, sir, what will happen? In case there is a loss, this journal entry will be reversed. You will post the journal entry as profit and loss account debit to contract account, right? This is the journal entry for loss. In case there is a loss because of any reason, I can say loss on sale, loss on theft, right? Loss because of destruction. So loss can be due to sale, theft, destruction, anything. So in the handbooks, check out the journal entry number 7, 8 and 9. So I've covered 3 journal entries here. One is the sale of material. 7 number entry, sale of material, sale proceeds to contract. 8 number is loss of material by sale, theft and destruction. And the last one is profit on sale of material, contract to profit and loss account. Right. So I've covered all the journal entries related to the material here. I have already almost covered. One journal entry is still there. Sir, what is that journal entry? The last journal entry related to material here, right? I don't know what is the number, might be 6, 7, whatever it is. Just check it in the handbooks. In the handbooks it is page 11.3, entry number 10, closing material at site. I told you that handbooks are going to be really important, really necessary now for all the upcoming chapters, right? So take the call accordingly, sir. Closing material at site. What it means, sir? What it means? See, I started a project on 1/4/21, right? This project is to continue for 2 years, right? 31st of March 23. This is where my project is going to end, right? It started on 1/4. Now on 1st of April, I have the materials. I bought the material for 1 lakh rupees, right? Now I am closing my books on 31st. When I checked here that out of this 1 lakh rupees, I found that materials worth 20,000 are still lying in the stock. Right? It is not necessary that all this 1 lakh will be utilized during this period. Right? 80,000 material worth 80,000 has been utilized and worth 20,000 is still lying in my stock. So what should be the entry for this? What should be the entry for this? This is for the material bought. Now some material, now this becomes my closing stock. Right? Sir, just tell me one thing. If I am going to prepare the trading profit and loss account, where do you record the closing stock? I just want to know from you people, where do you record the closing stock, sir? Sir, you will record here the closing stock. You will record here closing stock 20,000, isn't it? Am I wrong? No, no. I'm correct. So here I am right, contract account. So your journal entry is ready. What will be the journal entry? So journal entry will be simple. Material at site. What will be the journal entry? Material at site. Material at site to contract account. Simple. Material at site to contract account. Right? So with this, we are done with all the journal entries related to material. You can once cross check with the handbooks, right? All the 10 entries we have covered. Related to sale of material we have covered, related to purchase, related to transfer from other contract, issued from store to site. So everything we have covered already. Clear, sir? So this is all about the material. Now coming to the next part, that is next entry is related to labor. Labor cost. Sir, it is very simple. It is an expenditure for you, and for any expenditure your entry will be contract account debit to labor cost. Simple expenditure, nothing to worry about it, sir. Simple expenditure, right? Next is any other overhead. So there can be other overheads also, tea, coffee expenditure and anything related to that, right? So overhead cost, again it is a cost for you. What will be the entry? The entry will be simple, that is contract account debit to overhead cost, to overheads account. Clear? Entry number 11 and 12 in handbook. So this is very simple. These are just the expenditure and you have to record the expenditure in the contract account, right? So as I told you that we are going to study contract account in 4 parts. That is material, labor, overhead is the first part. Second is plant and machinery. Third is work in progress. And the fourth one is the notional profit, right? So we have covered the first part here. We have covered the first part, that is material, labor and overheads. I hope this is clear. Just go through all the journal entries that I have given in the handbooks, right, in the proper order that I have given in the handbooks. Just go through all the journal entries. I have explained you the concepts of each and every journal entry. I hope that is clear, right? So in the next lecture, what we are going to do is we are going to study the second part, that is plant and machinery. Again, a very important part. You have to listen it very carefully. There is a small points that creates the confusion, right? So I will clear it. Don't worry about it. We'll go slow. We'll understand each and every small things about the plant and machinery part. Clear? And I will show you the rough draft of the contract account also in the next lecture, right? So see you guys in the next lecture. Till then, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you so much.